fullness of my screen, or is any of my Zoom platform blocking anything?
No, you
We
full.
good. All
Yep.
right, give thanks. Give
Yes,
thanks.
sir. Indeed.
So, yeah. We're gonna share with y'all the 2024 vision. We say this year, it's all about the prophetic stage. Yo, it's gonna be a year. You're gonna be, you're gonna need to know your history, mystery, and prophecy. Things are gonna be occurring, things are gonna be uh fulfilling. And if you don't understand prophecy, the original prophetic timeline, as well as the manipulated prophecies that are, you know, spinning a lot of events we're seeing, you're going to be confused. Just like last year, it was like before I even got into the chart, I had to talk about the Philadelphia experiment, right? This year, got to do the same with prophecy. We ain't getting all in that tonight. I'm just explaining why this is called the prophetic stage for this year, right? But those that do follow my channel, you should be aware that my latest video focuses on the manipulated timelines that we see playing out with Is It Real Today, so-called Middle East. Uh, and my vision in 24 is to get a Patreon community bubbling. And our first series is going to focus on the history and mystery of prophecy, you know? So all of that's kind of aligned
Yes, yes,
with
yes.
the prophetic stage for this year, you know? So what's happening here. Let me get my joint working for me. There we go. So Red Pillar did a great recap of 23. We did say it was a pivot in time, two big things. One, the artificial manipulation, the Philadelphia experiment effect, compounding with the Montauk experiment effect. The other thing, the big transition of the slowest planet, Pluto, going into Aquarius, And so, yeah, Pillar covered a lot of that. How the 43 and 83 magnetic field Earth cycles was being manipulated, right? In these two experiments, Philadelphia experiment here in Philly, Montauk project up in Long Island. Bang. Why is that important? Because if they working on that 40 years, something's going was going to pop in 23. That's what we said, right? So yeah, I would have to say I think the most dramatic impact of that was AI, as the pillar pointed out, the pillars. And yeah, life ain't never gonna be the same after 23. When we look back, when we in 33 and 44, looking back at 23, yeah, we gonna feel like Michael Jordan just AI'd us, left our ass in the middle of the court, you know? Another big thing was this big shift of Pluto into Aquarius. Said the big theme of this was either going to be power to the people, right? Because Pluto is our relationship with truth and power. And Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of the masses, of the collective. We also had the specter, though, of what our good brethren, the Aki Becca, termed the relative persecution ratio. We're sad to say in this Babylon society we in right now, we all got a relative persecution ratio. Ras Ben right now, shit, they could push one more button and my shit just be crumbled right now, you know? And Blue, it might take him 4 buttons. It might take my Pittsburgh crew, it might take them 8 buttons, right? But everybody got a relative persecution ratio. Some amount of buttons, some algorithm, some AI deployment that yeah, would take you the hell out. And so this is the specter Pluto and Aquarius has. And then the other deep thing with it is that with Pluto and Aquarius, there won't be no, what you say, government accountability. We like to hold government accountable, right? Right now, right? Biden did it. Trump did it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It might not even manifest like that. So we did say with this Pluto and Aquarius, these were some of the upsides we would see. The biggest two I'm going to point out is that we said labor unions are going to be empowered in 23 and that there might be a lot of revolutions, right? Yo, we know 23 was the year of labor, right? This is what Wall Street Journal, New York Times, most media, they reporting how 23 was the year to strike and big victories, right? The Hollywood actors and screenwriters, uh, the auto workers scored real big, you know? Uh, and look at this stat. The country experienced a surge in strikes unlike anything in recent memory. According to Cornell's Labor Action Tracker, as of October 31, there were 354 strikes in 2023, involving roughly 492,000 workers, nearly 8 times the number of workers involved in strikes for the same period in 21, and 4 times the number for the same period in 22. So, hey, we said labor unions empowered. We saw that manifest right at the gate. We also said there was going to be a lot of revolutions. And we saw this in Africa, where you had a string of coups, right? So many that the newly formed governments formed a coalition to and an alliance to, secure legitimacy as a legitimate government. Like, hey, we all did it. Come on, represent, right? So we witnessed that too. And again, though, this is just the door of Pluto and Aquarius opening up, right? So I just did a real quick recap. The Red Pillar did more, and I will say that fullness of the video is on my Ras Ben 188 channel. I will say I revisited it this strong, uh, preparing for this evening. And man, what I'm saying, he who blows his own horn, it's a hollow tenor, But I was, I was pretty spot on, consistent with how we've been able to vision for a while, but especially since 2020, and it's from that point, 2020, the pillars have really been building with me just in terms of mapping years and accounting for what we said. So I'm very thankful they are a part of tonight and really couldn't see it manifesting any other way. But with that said, let's jump into the prophetic stage of 2024, right? And why? What's happening in 24 that's hey, why we need to pay attention to this prophetic stage? Got two big players on the prophetic stage this year. One is Saturn in Pisces in the 12th house. What is that? Oh, that's Father Time in the house of many mansions. That's Father Time in the house of revelation, the house of fulfillment. What? Beyond just the house and sign. You know, just for me personally, I am in the middle of my second Saturn return. Natally, for me, Saturn's in Pisces, right? And how it's almost, I'm not gonna say it's natural, but I've been naturally drawn to sacred timekeeping, you know, and figuring out history, mystery, and prophecy. It's just like I can't watch a Tom and Jerry cartoon. We're trying to interpret it prophetically, you know? So this is that Saturn and Pisces and natally, this is my marks. I got Saturn and Pisces in my 12th house, right? So if you in the Ras Ben search, right? You've been chronicling us and following us for a while. This is going to be a year when that Ross search really pay off, when that Ross search really feel extra relevant, because this year, Saturn, Pisces, 12th house, uh, uh, yo, history, mystery, and prophecy are going to impact the mundane, the everyday. You're going to be watching Tom and Jerry or whatever. You're going to be in your garden studying a bee. Mundane things in the supermarket and prophetic mysteries are going to be a part of those mundane experiences. When you witness these things, you're going to need to know what you're seeing. Make sure y'all check out the manipulated timelines and join the Patreon because we're going in on prophecy this year. You know, we're going to go in on prophecy. The first session we had, and I know some who were in the first session are in the house again tonight, but y'all know we went in on the original prophetic timeline, the Enochian timeline. What? To be able to articulate those things in 2024. Man, I'm still charged and inspired from that. And I look forward to sharing it again soon in the Patreon community, you know? But one big thing is that we're going to be witnessing what them call that in Saturn, Pisces 12th house, in time, Father Time, in time fulfillment. Something else that happened, just kind of synchronistically, something we can relate to, with Saturn and Pisces in the 12th house. It's when El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz was taken out. You know? All of that, 65, this was the signature of that year, you know? But we got something else on the prophetic stage popping. Neptune in Pisces in 12th house. Neptune has been popping up in this space for at least a decade, okay? And that's why Piscean people, and we know who the Piscean people are, those associated with the Ma'afa, those associated with the Carthaginian, Phoenician, transatlantic empire, them Poseidians, them Neptunians from the Atlas mountain region, you know, getting into Greco-Roman mythology and all that. And, you know, we've been singing redemption songs this last decade or so. We're not just focused on our lifetime here and now, right now. Nah, what do we hear out of our mouths often? Our ancestries and the works that they've done, the shoulders I stand on. I gotta redeem them. I gotta heal the family. I gotta, you know, bless up the bloodline and do some mighty works to bring things full circle. My good brethren, Jamal, I hope you in the house tonight. But he shared with us how one of his ancestries is Bruce James, the man who stole the Kebra Nagas and the Book of Enoch out of Ethiopia and founded York Rite Masonry with, not York Rite, excuse me. What is that rite? What's the other rite?
It's the Scottish.
Scottish Rite.
Yeah, he
Thank you.
formed the Scottish Rite.
Formed the Scottish Rite. Thank you. I just blinked on me for a moment. But formed the Scottish Rite Masonry by introducing the Enochian Rite, which was all the mysteries he had gained studying with the priest in Ethiopia. What? And, you know, yeah, how that thing inspires this man's work, what he's doing today. How powerful is that? That we encircle with a man who's fulfilling that circle. This is Saturn in Pisces 12th house. This is Neptune, Pisces 12th house. We singing our redemption songs. I hope you don't mind me using that example, but when you shared it, right, the first session, I just thought it was so profound and it really spoke to the time, you know? I can't think of a more glaring example, you know? But
Oh, respect. I appreciate that, Ross, very much.
yeah, man. And so Neptune in Pisces 12th house is doing that, but it's also prophetic visions, inspiring action. Okay? But that's not easy in 2024. Why? Because Neptune has a challenging aspect with Mars and Mercury in the 9th house. They square 90-degree tension, stress, right? And what are the planets distressing? Mars and Mercury retrograde relatively, I'm not going to say they hard conjunct, they 5 degrees of separation. 7 degrees, some people give as the arc of influence for aspect, right? Some people limit it to 3. I like 7. I think if it's within 7 degrees, that aspect is active. And then when you look at Neptune, right? Neptune is at 25 degrees Pisces, which is in the middle of the arc of influence between Mars and Mercury. Mars is at 27 degrees Sagittarius, right? Mercury's at 22. So Neptune itself is only 3 degrees away from Mercury, and it's only 2 degrees away. And when I say away, from direct aspect with Mars, you know? So that's an active square, right? And if we were to give Mars conjunct Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius in the 9th house some keywords, that's wars and rumors of war. Because Mars is the weapon maker. Mars is the warmonger, you know? Anything martial, like, martial law. Is law during war, you know? And, yeah, Mars is bout it, right? And we all know what Mercury retrograde is. It's confusion, misunderstanding, misperception, uh, miscommunication, misstep. So what is that going to translate into? War and rumors of war. Even how Red was building, how that whole thing really seemed like a psyop. How, I mean, I saw YouTube. I wish I could like pull it up and reference it right now. But it was a military, Israeli military soldier saying like, yo, there's no way in damn hell October 7th wasn't enabled because the Gaza Strip is the most surveilled, that the border along the Gaza Strip, he said, was the most surveilled stretch of land in the world. There's no way that thing went unaware, you know? So here we go. It's going to be echoed throughout 24, wars and rumors of war. But then you're going to still be inspired, have these cats inspired by prophetic visions. That's what I'm saying. We're going to need to know prophecy because you're going to have cats wilding the hell out on manipulated prophetic timeline. It ain't even the real prophecy, how things is supposed to go down. And so this is how we supposed to move, right? But you out here on some apocalypse of pseudo Matthias. You out here on some the book of John Mandeville. These false prophetic teachings. You on some prophecy of the Church of Philadelphia, Revelations chapter 3. You out here on some major manipulated timelines. Don't know, just because the shit's happening in front of you, you don't know, is it real or not, right? Just because we see it, is it real? I don't know. These is the questions we're going to have to be answering in 24. Okay? I already broke this down, right? Just to build on a little more. Sagittarius and ninth house are both the realm of international relations. Okay? But it is also the house of religion, in contrast to 12th house, which will be the house of spirituality, which we would define as the house where we have our direct and personal relationship with God and ancestors, you know? So ninth house, when we go to church, when we go to the masjid, when we have collective worship experiences, that's the ninth house. So with Mars and Mercury retrograde, but still being influenced by Neptune, it's going to be some like, fanatical characters. Fanatic antics is going to be popping off on 24. Why? Mars is the planetary ruler of drive, motivation, and ambition. Conjunct Mercury retrograde, again in this house of religion, house and sign of religion, mutable fire. The fire no water can put out. Another dimension we might see with Mars conjunct Mercury retrograde in this outgoing house, all that yang yang. We already see the momentum of this. And with this planetary alignment in 24, the stage is set for this stuff to kind of grow outrageous this year, right? I don't know how it's going to manifest, but the manosphere, right? I know Kevin Samuels is an ancestor now, right? But maybe the next Kevin Samuels will arise. Or they'll start a Kevin Samuels conference or something. But Mars is the planetary ruler of manhood and masculinity. Again, conjunct in Mercury retrograde. It's going to be all that yang yang. It ain't going to be yin yang. It's going to be yang yang. In ninth house, in Sagittarius, passport bros. These dudes is going to be like next level 24, you know? And does that mean they're really going to blow up in attention and followers? Very possible. May they say and do such outrageous things that they look like Mars conjunct Mercury retrograde, you know, and just get caught the hell out of there. That's possible too, but we can't see what's in the chart. Be aware of the momentum that's been building with that thing and not factor it to be something that kind of has a lot of attention and focus in 24, you know? Compounding that is, let me make sure I got this right. All right, compounding that, right, is that we got yin in the house of yang. Venus is detriment in the 8th house. Mars rules the 8th house. Venus is better manifest in the 2nd house or the 7th house, right? Venus is really considered at its detriment in the 8th, right? And if we were to put a keyword to how that detriment, or you say archetypically, would manifest misplaced values, right? And how Venus in the eighth house moves, it's an iron fist and a silk glove. Like we say, Mars rules the eighth house. Eighth house is where the resource grab occurs, you know? So when Venus is in the eighth house, you got these misplaced values, right? What you may have is characters that they present, whatever they presenting, whatever they coming with, is silky, is velvety, it's pretty, you know? But they shown just enough of the iron fist to let you know, like, yo, you could take it sweet or you could take it soft or you could take it hard. What you gonna do? So there's like this alluring yet intimidating manipulation going on. The way we could see that play out on the international level is this BRICS thing. This BRICS. This BRICS thing is going to go down in 24 with this Venus and Sag. And like, that's how BRICS is really coming at where you say Western economies right now. Like, look, you know, we holding out this silk hand, right? But Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, yeah. We about to reconfigure our whole economics and our whole global network to exclude y'all Bamas. Y'all can either get down or lay down. What you gonna do? You know? So Venus in Sag, international, right? But in this eighth house, woo, it's going to be pay attention to the BRICS negotiations. But then on an interpersonal scale, so that's international, but interpersonal, building on this yang yang. This is, what's this going to create? Oh no, we might see the passport hose, you know? We might see something outrageous like that evolving where, again, misplaced values, the schism between the family and the polarization of man versus woman, how it's manifest as the passport bro. We might even see an extreme example come like the passport hoe, you know? That's what this Venus. But I will point out too that Saturn in Pisces in 12th house, Father Time in the house of fulfillment is hard square Venus in 8th in Sag. You see, they each at 3 degrees, right? So look, do your best. What I would say is, you feel like you got to put a velvet glove on, right? But you know your ultimate intention is to be strong arming and bow guarding. Just don't even put the glove on, right? Just, hey, Brody, make your move, okay? Because there's going to be karmic dimensions associated with misplaced values and uh, what you say, the alluring yet intimidating manipulation that we might be impelled, find ourselves in, you know? A, all of us who are in relations. You're a man with a woman. You're a woman with a man. Go into 24 really valuing your relationship. And don't allow yourself to be manipulated, particularly by social media, and the resentments, and putting yourself in those positions where you got them alluring, yet manipulating moves playing out. Why? Saturn, hard square, instant karma. Father Time is like, Father Time we ain't got a lot of time for, we say, just the bullshit in 24 with Saturn and Pisces, 12th house, you know? So if we know better and ain't doing better as it relates to our values, and we say, well, what do you mean by values, Ross? Hey, sit down and ask yourself, what's really important in my life? What's really, really important in my life? The answer to those questions is Venus in your life. Venus is our values. So if you can't identify what's really important in your life, this would be a good year to focus on that. All right? And just pay attention that Venus rules Libra, 7th house, which is all about relations and relationships. Without, my brethren Aki Becker would say, keep good relations amongst I and I. Right? So we have to do that. Right? There also might be a lot of past life rectification. And you find yourself in some weird dynamic in a relationship, right? Like, where the hell this come from? It might not be from this lifetime. It might be some past life rectification playing itself out. So meds on that too. If one of your relations, they wilding out on some old like, yo, where you coming from? It might be something, you know, and there's no experience you can anchor in this lifetime to explain their behavior, right? It might be coming from that 12th house, Saturn and Pisces, hard square in Venus. All right, y'all with me? Y'all with me?
Yes.
Yes, I.
All right,
Yes, star.
all right. Give thanks. So, yo, the pillars. One thing to really, you see, they the nodal edge
Mm-hmm.
is on the cutting edge of what
Yes.
we need to know with this technology. And that's going to be very relevant in 24. Innovative innovations. I could see something. Now, and this is even, it's going to be different than AI. It might be AI, right? But I think it's going to be something different. There's going to be a rollout, a deployment of some innovative new technology that's going to be a real game changer. Okay? And what I mean by that, like I saw how in 23 this brethren invented a machine that makes water out of air, right? But again, is it getting rolled out? Is it getting deployed? Right? I see it as a technology along those lines. And why it's going to get rolled out, big part of it might be because it's an election year. But all the forces are going to come together that, yeah, a societally changing innovation may hit the scene, even bigger than AI in terms of, like, where you say mundane liberty in 24. We got several players lining up for this. Okay? We have the Sun and Cap in a harmonic trine with the Moon in Virgo in 6th house, which is all about Virgo. 6th house is all about production and efficiency. You know? Capricorn in 10th house. These the man, these decision makers, right? Is why the new year starts with Sun and Cap, you know? The man. And then they're all trining a couple of planets in the 1st house, Jupiter and Uranus. So this is almost a grand trine. I want y'all to study the chart real quick, and you'll see that there's an arrow pointing to the 1st house, right? By the aspects. You see the almost triangle that's outlined right here. But the corners don't meet at the 1st house because there's a significant arc of degree of influence between Jupiter and Uranus, right? They are, what's that, 14 degrees apart. So even though they're both in the 1st house, right? They're not aspecting or interacting one another. But at the same time, Jupiter is trining the sun, but Uranus is not an aspect to it, right? But at the same time, Uranus is trining the moon. Y'all see that? So it's almost a grand trine. Grand trines, excuse me, grand trines are considered one of the most auspicious aspects that can be created. But you do need some squares and oppositions in the chart to really balance it. A complete grand trine with no squares or oppositions, someone born with a silver spoon in their mouth, you know, who ain't have no trial nor tribulation. So then the first stressor they encounter in life, they crumble. So I actually think, you know, when you see that 24 is almost a grand trine with some squares in it, right? We already mentioned one. Venus and Saturn is squaring. Neptune and Mars and Mercury are squaring. Then you got this almost grand trine. It kind of sets the stage for if some favorable, advantageous opportunities for humanity or the collective pop up, the leaders, the world, everything is, it's like they're going to be compelled to make it happen. They're not going to be able to take it for granted. You know, at least I guess that's my wishful thinking, right? I'm going to put it out there. Shoot, right? Another way I could see this innovation manifest is, well, right here are some of the ways. Food production, clean renewable energy, ergonomics, stress management, home and work efficiency. We might see a 4-day work week where energy efficiency, pollution, minimization, stress, how on the live yesterday, the Pillars and I did a live to promote tonight. And they was just blocking the sound. I think it was at that time. Blocking the sound, how like women is tired, mama's tired. They wouldn't get off the rat race, treadmill. For what? For who? Yeah. We might see a 4-day work week or some innovation in ergonomics and stress management, or clean renewable energy that we it free us up from these utilities and shit. Let's see, you know? But on the flip side, physical stress's impact on emotional wellness is going to become more relevant. Manic, compulsive, and obsessive issues will, hey, we're going to see it. Maybe it'll be a reality show around a manic or a famous person who battles with OCD behaviors, opening up about their conditions, or somebody OCD doing something outrageous that makes the news. And so now it's like relevant. People are talking about it, you know? I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. This first house, Jupiter and Uranus in the first house. Oh boy. In an election year, oh boy. Well, just on one level, it's going to be the year of self-aggrandizement. You got Jupiter and Uranus in the first house, the house of identity, the house of, you know, I am. Oh man. Jupiter in the first house. Yeah, magnanimous characters, bigger than life characters. When I see Jupiter in the first house, I automatically, you know who we automatically think of? You know, the Don. The Don will probably, if I'm looking at Jupiter in the first house, defining the characters on the stage, oh man, the Don mind, come again, you know? But then Uranus in first house, eclectic characters, characters that their unique individuality is what makes them stand out. These is going to be the characters playing the leading roles on the prophetic stage. Oh, shit. On an election year. But also, too, identity politics is going to impact society and elections greatly. Okay? Uranus is the ruler of the 11th house and Aquarius, the house and sign of elections and politics. Its ruler is in the first house. There's also the first AI election, where we're going to be seeing things that may be AI generated. We're going to have AI calculated drives, voting drives, as well as campaigns to minimize certain votes. Whew. And yeah, year of self. So this Uranus in the first house makes it the year of self-aggrandizement, but also social transformation. These same characters is going to be the one driving this prophetic stage, And what's going to be driving this social transformation? We've already built on it. It is this Pluto on the cusp of Aquarius, where it's even highlighted this year because it's right on the cusp of the 11th house. Again, Aquarius is all things 11th house. So in a U.S. election year, with Pluto there, right? There's the only way I can interpret this. In a U.S. election year where money is free speech, you have corporate-sponsored elections, the first AI election, minimization of relevance of elected officials, and the corporatization of authority. Wow. These are going to be the realms where we see the most change in our society. And as Blue eloquently gave us the vision where 23 is Jordan, but 24 is Kobe. One thing I know about Kobe was ice cold. He was accurate. Like, when you say that Mamba consciousness, like, not that Michael Jordan was graceful, right? But, I don't think he identified as a Mamba, right? But that's how Pluto is poised right here. In this, what's this? This is the prophetic stage of 24 set. Wow. So, right. We already talked about this one half of the equation that, hey, we're going to work it to the best of our ability. These peer-to-peer empowerment, these pillars, that y'all doing what we need to be doing, which is creating peer-to-peer economic platforms. We can all prosper collectively, But then we've already covered this. We do have this shadow, the specter of it weighing over us, But I think the ultimate key to getting through 24 again, ground yourself with these players on the prophetic stage. Be open to your prophetic visions. You get some prophetic visions, act on them. But gotta know your prophecy. You got to know your prophecies. Book of Enoch, the key to the original prophecy. We'll just drop it on that. We'll end this portion there. How y'all feeling?